Hey YouTube, it's Wisconsin Shoe Guy here. What I wanted to do today was I wanted to talk about a new care of shoes methodology that I just learned about, and I wanted to give it a try. And I thought I would share my experience with you. So I'm going to take this pair of shoes. This is a Shell Cordovan pair of Adelaides, Allen Edmonds Cornwallis, and you can see that they're a little bit spotty. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to utilize some pure polish shoe cream for it. So I don't know about you guys, but when I look at boxes, this is a box from a pair of sunglasses that I have. It's perfect size for some of my small shoe polish. So pure polish, which is I've had some pretty good luck with on Shining Calf. I'm going to give it a try today with the shell. Now, I also have some high shine paste as well, which I'm going to give a whirl as well. So just kind of see how it works and how it goes. Just want to see kind of where that is. So, these shoes are relatively new, and I want to make sure that I get a really good base shine on them. And what's most important is that this is a waterproof polish, and I find that I've heard from some of my really good friends online that they're able to use this and that it does not spot in the rain or overall. And so since I've had that problem, especially with this pair of shoes, I'm going to try to do it. So first thing I use when I'm working on Shell Cordovan shoes is I have a boar hair brush. This is from Abbeyhorn. The horn is my key. I just can't remember. Now these are bourbon Shell Cordovan, and I am using the light brown on these. So it's a little bit lighter. Should be okay. But the trick with Shell is a lot of brushing. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. So I'm not going to fast forward or edit this video. I'm going to try to do it just pretty much straight the way it is. I may, as I've done on the last couple of videos, throw a title and a ending on it. Just highlight a pair of shoes that I wore in the last week or something like that. But I thought it would be interesting to put that out there and let you guys see it just from scratch, so you know how long it takes and what the experience is like. So hopefully this works out nicely. If it's not, then I apologize in advance to the folks over at Pure Polish, because I am far from an expert at using this medium. This is literally my first time really going after my shell shoes with it. So now the way I look at this is that this brush is a lot stiffer than a horsehair brush. I can actually give you a little bit of a, see the pliable there, and then this is a horsehair, and you can see you just like stick it right in there. So this is pretty thick. So so that it's the thickness and the firmness of the bristles. And I just look at it as a way, like when you're brushing your shoes, you use the brush to bring out a little bit of heat. I don't think the heat is as necessary for Shell. Friction really brings out the cleanliness in Shell Cordovan. So I'm going to do that. And then when I finish the shoes, I like to use a shine mitt to do that. So which is just a piece of sheepskin. So can definitely do that as well. So, but just try to do that, and then it's just this basic cleaning. Get the shoe nice and clean. Make sure you get all the any dust, any kind of stuff off that might have got on the last time you wore them. I know many of us have been home for a couple months now. Although the country's starting to open up, I don't think business travel is really starting to pick up yet. And so I plan on being home for a little bit still. But I am trying to wear my shoes, at least a little bit. I have to admit, I'm not wearing suits as much as I thought I would. I was on a video conference with a client this week and was wearing a t-shirt, and so was he. So really didn't anything. But we are doing video a lot, as I'm sure many of you are. So just something to keep in mind. You see, you got some scratches here. Now, I can do a lot of different things with the scratches. A lot of times, what I'll do is I would use my deer bone and a little VSC on that. But what I'm going to do, because I don't know anything about this pure polish, is I'm going to just use it and see whether or not see if it works. So this is a paste. It's not a liquid cream like you'll see on a lot of others. So you know, it is a little different. You see my shine rag. I use a big one, and you can see that I do a variety of colors with the same one. I'm not as sophisticated as I might be, but just really basic, right? Nothing fancy. And I'm just gonna take it and try to get it so that it's just a little bit, because I figure I'm gonna put on quite a few coats. So again, I'm just rubbing it in. I'm trying to pay attention to the spots where, sorry, it helps if I let the shoe be in the video here. You know, just work it in and see how it goes. Obviously, you know, there are some areas that are going to be a little bit more, and some areas that are going to take a little bit less. And what I've noticed with pure polish on calf is a little goes a long way. And what you really want to do is you want to do very, very thin coats in order to be able to really bring out the shine. So just again, just pushing it in. You can see it's pushing out. Still on the rag. I have not added any more to the rag than I did at the beginning. Let me see if I can, hey, look at that. Amazing what you can do with technology these days. So, as always, it's important to get around the welt. If you've got a little scuffing, like I have a little bit there, you might want to do some neutral wax if it's a buff welt like this. Now, I try to do this until my finger actually feels warm. I do that because I feel like the, you know, that helps the waxes on the inside of the, just really soak in. This is shell Cordovan, so it does not penetrate the pores because there are no pores. So that's a, you know, that's a difference that's there. Now, of course, that I changed the angle on this, I see that you can see that I'm storing some wine in an old remote car that was my kid's in my office. So that's embarrassing, but that's the way these things go. Welcome to live recordings. And there you are. So already you can see that there is spots that have not come out. So I may need to readjust and use some water first. So we'll have to see how that goes. I'm ready to take a little bit more. Again, not very much, just a little bit there, and really work that in. Now you got that scratch. Yeah, that is. I'll work that in as well. You know, when you use the deer bone, use VSC with it to help it, you know, be smoother. But what you're really doing is you're using pressure to help push the oils in the skin around. right? So you do the same thing when you're using your hand, and you just use a lot of pressure. That seems to be one of the tricks that I've learned with shell, is you gotta really work it. Now, I got that little mark there, a little stubborn. So I'm gonna take a little bit here. Let's see how that works. You see, that's better. It's hardly there. Now, I hadn't gotten all of the spots out ahead of time. So if I can't get them all out, what I'm doing here, usually, you know, the waxes in here are corrosive enough to clean about just anything. But again, this is pure polish. It's a different formula. And, you know, this is even their cream, not their wax. So just have to see how it goes. I may need to strip it off and start again, but we'll see. You know, I don't want my neuroses of being a little nervous about it impact anything. I've had, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 really, really good experiences with pure polish, and then I had one experience where I oversaturated a pair of cap toes with their conditioner cleaner, and it was clearly me. I want to go on the record and say it's clearly me, and I just feel like I owe them a good experience on this one. So I'm hoping that that I'm able to get that one going. So try to put the laces in before, and should have taken them out, but I'm sure, like many of you, I don't follow the rules every single time the way I probably should. So now I've done a pretty nice job here in terms of getting it cleaned off. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to brush it again. Again, I'm not using a lot of product. So, and you see it's coming on pretty nice. Now, the brushing is important, and you do that because it's heat, it's because it buffs it, it's because it gets it around, and it has to be really dry if you're using the same brush you use to clean it, because if you get it on your brush, that can be a problem. So just a word of caution there. I only use this brush really for shell, but I do use it for multiple colors. Clearly I'm using a black brush on this. Now you can see most of the spots are gone, which is really good. And so that's there. So if we look at and do a comparison of the two vamps, you can see how spotty this one is on the it's probably going to be on the right. They mirror the videos compared to how I see them on the camera, so I got to be careful with that. But you know, I feel like it's come along pretty well. So that is step 1, and I am going to just keep trying to work this in on this shoe and see how that how that goes. Looks like it's still got a little bit left on my finger here, so I'm gonna just keep pushing it in and trying to buff it. Eventually, just like with polish, the cloth that you're using will buff up as well. That's always helpful. So, see how that works. Okay, so I'm gonna put some more on. Again, that's probably too much. So I'm gonna take half of that away, make it like so. And now this is layer 2. And that's for the whole shoe, just the toe. I'm gonna go in circles. If you don't go in circles, it's streaks. And now I'm getting into seeing some of the spots a little bit better right here. So just trying to get them really, really well out. A lot of people will tell me that I'm absolutely crazy recording myself the first time I'm doing something like this, instead of trialing and erroring it and showing you how it works after I know what I'm doing. But I feel like this is more educational, because you can hear the comments that I'm making to myself as I continue to learn what I'm doing. So personally, I tend to learn a lot better that way. Other people really just want easy to understand instructions. Hey, do this, and then it'll work. But I've always found that challenging because I'm a why guy. If I understand the why, then I remember the how a lot better. This is one of the reasons that I really like having a knob at the top of the shoe tree. The Allen Edmonds shoe trees, you don't have that, but when you're polishing, you can wrap your hand like here, and you just let it sit in your arm like this. It's really, really easy to polish. And so you've got the ones that have the knobs, and then you have the ones that have the hooks that come up. Those are my favorite kinds of trees for that reason. All right, now I'm gonna brush it. Another thing people won't appreciate, I know my mother would have scolded me relentlessly for wearing a merino wool sweater while polishing my shoes. But I like the way it feels, so there you go. So although with the pandemic, it's not like I'm going to my dry cleaner. So I do need to be cautious there. All right, so we'll look at how this is coming out. Much less in terms of spots, really, if any. And that's after 2 coats. And very, very light brushing. Now you see on the heel there where I did the work before. It's obviously better than it was, but it's not perfect. Here, I'm going to take this and I'm just going to work that into that area. Really try to get that area smoothed out. That scratch there as well. I'm going to put that down so I can really work on it. Again, pressure. The more pressure you apply, the better the shell cordovan reacts. I always do a little bit. Now that's another thing that a lot of people won't like, because sometimes I will lick a finger or something like that in order to add a little bit of liquid into this. I have a spray bottle that I usually use for polishing, but it's not right here, and I don't really want to mist shell, especially not since shell spots, and it's such a different thing. So here, see that? It's still pretty bad. I have to work on that some more. I may wind up having to just use my deer bone on it. So, of course, this is all just nasty dirty. Just dirty. All right. And sometimes with polish, and you don't, I mean, I don't know this pure polish well enough to know this, but sometimes I'll put it on and then I'll just let it sit and dry on a scuff like that. And then I'll go back to it and buff it out afterwards. So I'm doing that here. Try to give it some time. I'm going to work on my toes again. The one thing that you have to do, you have to go along the welt. You have to really get right up to the welt line. And that always, for me, because my fingers are kind of thick, I always have to push my way into that. So something that I'm doing here. All right. So that's probably only been a minute or so, but I'm gonna go and I'm gonna try to put this out. You know, I'm not putting a lot on, so I'm not really super worried about it. So sorry about that. Got some things on my computer. Error messages. I got an app that wants to quit in order to restart or something like that, and I had to stop it. So normal stuff. And there's still some scratches. Son of a gun. All right. Well, you can see the rest of it. It's coming together. You know, I feel like I've demonstrated what it's like to do this. So I think what I'm going to do is walk away from it, let it dry, rebrush it, and then I'll probably start my finishing on it. If I do that, that should give you a pretty good idea of what it's like. Maybe I'll do the other shoe and then come back and talk a little bit about it. What I don't want to do is I don't want to have you sit there and just have to fast forward because it's so tedious to watch the video. So for those of you who are watching and really trying to learn, I will give you another round of polish. And for those not, just go ahead and fast forward like 5 minutes, and I will edit the video and just bring on a conclusion so as not to bore everybody to tears. So thanks for watching, and putting on the last edition of this now. So see how that goes. What I'm going to do now is when I go to brush it, I'm going to actually spend a little bit more time with it, and I'm going to brush it with the horsehair instead of the boar hair to try to bring out the shine. Now, I don't know about you, but I like to actually go and use goat hair for a finish brush. And when I use goat hair, I feel like it really, it's like, it's really like using a cashmere sweater to buff your shoes. It's very, very good and works really, really well. But don't always do it for shell because it's not usually that type of a buff. So, but I put some more product on this, and so I need to buff it out with my hands first before I bring out that brush. I think everybody's been able to see, and I'm interested in your comments on whether my less is more in terms of product is equivalent with yours. If you feel like I'm going back and grabbing too much polish as I go, that'll be important for me to know. So on the buffing, I'm doing longer streaks, medium pressure, and now circles. And there you go. All right. Well, so now got my horsehair. Here we go. Now, what's interesting is you take a look at the shine here, or to the shine here. It's already elevated quite a bit. You can see my film lights, but it's a pretty big difference. And for me, I mean, I got all the water spots for the most part are out. Still have a couple that I wanna mess with, but I feel like that's pretty good. 2.5 coats, really just kind of starting. So something to keep in mind. But as you're trying to do this, we'll see. So at this point, I will pause the video and I will come back after I finish the second shoe, and we'll take a look at it from there. Thanks for watching. Hey YouTube, it's Wisconsin Shoe Guy, and I'm back, and I have done both of these now, and you can see I've got them in the light here a little bit more. Not sure how it's going to come out on camera, but they've done a really nice job, and the screen polish does really good work. So very happy with the way they turned out. I'll put a picture in from what daylight is left outside, so you can see that as well. And just again, wanted to thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. Thanks all.